Myself, Assistant Professor Mithili Gaurishankar. Today we are going to see Module 1 Introduction to Computers of SY.BAF in Semester 3 Information Technology in Accountancy 1. Today we are going to see the topic Computer and its history. So first we are going to see what is computer. Computers are used in many fields like banking, medicine, finance and education with increased preference. In every field, computer is necessary for doing the work easily and fastly and reduce the manual errors. Computer is also a device that stores as well as processes information electronically. So, computer is an electronic device. Every data we are giving to the computer will be stored in a database. Computers usually come in different size and grades of functionalities. According to the use, we can select different size and grades of computers for our personal use or office use. History of computers. History of computers, in this we are going to see from where and when the computer generation started and how it was innovated all around. The journey of computers began in 1822 with Charles Babbage. Analytical engine was introduced by him, which was used to compute the product of numbers. First, only the product of numbers was checked in the analytical engine, that is called as computer by that time. Lady Ada Lovelace, considered to be the world's first programmer, helped with the programming of the analytical engine. Further, Lady Ada Lovelace helped to the improvement of the computer. Around 100 years later, Alan Turing presented a concept of universal machine, doing many calculations which could theoretically compute anything. So, by the technology development and the development of the research, new universal machine came for theoretical computation of all the calculations. ENIAC, that is electronic numerical integrated and calculator, which filled an entire room, the huge machine, and had around 18,000 vacuum tubes. First generation, the computer was fully with vacuum tube, having huge length and breadth, covering entire room. So that machine named as ENIAC, that is electrical numerical integrated and calculator. After that, further development, computers are having different types. We are going to see that. Computers can be differentiated based on their mode of functioning as well as their size and functionality. So functioning and size functionality depends on the both. The computers are having different types. Here they have been divided into different types of computers. We are going to see that. First one, analog computer. These are old model of computer that work on the continuous analog signals rather than discrete signals. They are not very accurate but extremely fast. Like in the ventilator, the signal is analog. Like that, the same analog signal was used. Analog watch we are supposed to wear. Like that, the signal is not in the numbers but some like waves. So the diagram was given side the analog computer. Next, digital computer was introduced. Computers that use this binary system of counting using electrical pulses of on and off are known as digital computers. They function on discrete values and are generally more accurate. So converting from analog, it was converted to digital with on-off system. On means one number, off means zero number. Now also we are having the bits or binary numbers as 0 and 1. According to the electrical and electronic signal, the digital values are stored in the computer. That system was came that is called digital computer. The diagram was the photo of the digital computer was in the stream. Next, hybrid system means analog plus digital was introduced. Computers that have features of both digital and analog computer are known as hybrid computers. The analog part of a computer handles very complicated mathematical computation, while digital components handle these numerical and logical systems. Both numerical and logical calculation was done with this hybrid system. Next one, mainframe. Mainframe computer is the fourth type that are accessed simultaneously by several thousands of people at once. Before that, only single man can use. After that, in mainframe, many people can use at a time, because that was a big machine occupying huge number of space. They are used in fields of banking and telecom, where they have to handle millions of requests together in minimal time. So conversion of manual calculation to computer main use is to minimize the manual work and minimize the error. Mainframe is the starting of that, and it was used in the big calculation area and big communication area like banking and telecom. Next, supercomputer. These massive computers are used in the field of engineering, scientific computations. They usually perform over a million instructions per second. After mainframe, supercomputers are little bit advanced. The calculation was fast and it was doing millions of instructions per second. After that, servers are introduced, where large repositories of information are stored. They supply information to any computer that is on the same network as them. Many people access servers at the same time, so servers need to handle large amount of traffic. So one server will manage whole lab. All the detail working in the other PCs are stored in the server. So large amount of tariff will be there in the server. Workstations. This type of computer that scientists and engineers may be familiar with, which is called as workstations. It is generally used in scientific application and has a faster microprocessor along with a spacious memory. The memory of the workstation is more for calculation of scientists and engineers for doing their field work. It is related to more scientific calculation also using the applications. Microcomputer is the next one. This last type of computer is a microcomputer, which is nothing but a personal computer. Nowadays we are using that you use at home. These computers are built for light use, such as listening to music or playing movies or accessing the internet. Basic home needs are done through the computer, that is called microcomputer. It is for simple and personal use of the computer. Next one, we are going to see generation of computer. In the starting, we have seen the history of computer, how the renovation of every machine is converted to the computer. Now after that generation, they have given the name to the development of the computer in every 20 years or 30 years. The technology began the primary generation computers was a fragile gas device, which was called a vacuum tube. With the vacuum tube connectivity only, the first generation computer started. These computers were very heavy and really large. These weren't very reliable, and programming on them were with a tedious task, as they used low level programming language and used no OS. No operating system was there by that time. Low level programming language only started in the first generation computers. First generation computers were used for calculation, storage and control purpose. Only for these three purposes the computer was used. They were too bulky, very big and large, and they needed a full room and consuming a lot of electricity and also manual power also. Example of some main first generation computers mentioned below, that is ENIAC, and vacuum tube diagram is there. This is one vacuum tube. There are many vacuum tube combining makes the first generation computers. Electronic, numerical, integrated and computational machine is ENIAC, built by J. Presper, Eckert and John M. Mithili. Was innovated the general purpose computer. It had been cumbersome and large and contained 18,000 vacuum tubes. IDWAC is the next one. Electronic discrete variable automatic computer was designed by Don Newman. It could store data also as instruction and thus the speed was enhanced. UNIVAC, Universal Automatic Computer, was developed in 1952 by Eckert and Mauchly. What is the characteristic of first generation computers? Main characteristics are main electric component. Used component are vacuum tube. For programming language, machine language. Main memory, that time magnetic tape and magnetic drives. Nowadays it was in the cards, SD card, hard disk, external hard drive, etc. Input output devices, paper tape and punch cards. Speed and size very slow and very large, often taking up an entire room. Examples of the first generation are IBM 650, IBM 701, ENIAC, UNIVAC 1, etc. These are the name of the computer used by the time. Next we are seeing second generation computer. Here we have transistors. It was given in the diagram. Second generation computers used the technology transistors rather than bulky vacuum tubes. Another feature was the core storage. The transistor may be a device composed of semiconductor material that amplifies a sign or opens or closes the circuit. So transistor allow the circuit means one number, close the circuit means 0. According to that, the process of computer was taking place. Transistors were innovated in Bell Labs. The use of transistor made it possible to perform powerfully and with due speed. Speed comparing to vacuum tube use is more, but little bit slow comparing to now. Which was generated by vacuum tubes, central processing unit, memory, programming language and input-output units also came into the force within the second generation. These concepts introduced in second generation. The programming language was shifted from high level to programming language and made programming comparatively a small task for programmers. Languages used for programming during this era were Fortran, it was given in 1956, Algol 1959, 58 and COBOL 1959. These are the program used by the second generation time. The year of introducing the program code was given there. Characteristics of second generation computers. Characteristics and components we are going to see. Here the main electronic components is transistor, programming language, machine language and assembly language. Memory, magnetic core and magnetic tape disk. Input output device, magnetic tape and punched card. Power and size, smaller in size, had low power consumption and generated less heat in comparison with the first generation computers. Examples of the second generation are PDP-8, IBM 1400 series, IBM 7090 and 7094, UNIVAC 1107, CDC 3600, etc. Next we are going to see third generation computer. During the third generation, technology envisaged a shift from huge transistor to integrated chips. So conversion from the big transistor to smaller integrated circuit was introduced. It is shortly known as IC. Here a variety of transistors were placed on silicon chips called semiconductors. The chips are arranged in the semiconductor. The most features of this era computers was speed and reliability. IC was made from silicon and also called silicon chips. A single IC has many transistors, resistors and capacitors built on one thin slice of silicon. The IC has many transistors, resistors and capacitor. It is placed in the one thin slice of silicon. The value size was reduced and memory space and dealing efficiency were increased during this generation. Programming was now wiped out. Higher level language like BASIC, beginners all-purpose symbolic instruction code. Many computers find their space during this era. Characteristics of third generation computers are: main electronic component is integrated circuits, that is IC. Programming language is high-level languages. Memory is large magnetic core, magnetic tape or disk. Input-output devices are magnetic tape, monitor, keyboard, printer, etc. Examples of third generation is IBM 360, IBM 370, PDP-11, NCR 395, B6500, UNIVAC 110B, etc. 1108, etc. IBM was given in this generation. Next, fourth generation. In 1971, first microprocessor were used. Next development in the computer, the large scale of integrated LSI circuits, large scale integrated circuits were used, built on one chip called microprocessor. The advantages of this technology is that one microprocessor can contain all the circuits required to perform arithmetic, logic and control functions on one chip. The computer using microchips were called microcomputers. These generations provided even smaller size computers with larger capacities. That's not enough. Then very large scale integrated VLSI circuits replaced by LSI circuits. The changes of circuit was there and also program also there in the fourth generation. The Intel company came here. Intel 4004 chip developed in 1971 located all the components of the PC from the central processing unit and memory to input-output control on one chip and allowed the dimension to reduce drastically. Technologies like multi-purposing, multiprocessing, multi-programming, time sharing, operating speed and virtual memory made it a more user-friendly and customary devices. The concept of private computers and computer networks came into being within the fourth generation. Characteristic of fourth generation computers are very large scale integration and microprocessor has thousands of transistors on a single microchip. Memory, semiconductor memory such as RAM, ROM, etc. Input-output devices are pointing devices, optical scanning, keyboard, monitor, printer, etc. Examples of the fourth generation are IBM PC Star 1000, Apple II, Apple Macintosh, Altair 8800, etc. Fifth generation computers, the technology behind the fifth generation computer is artificial intelligence. We are seeing now voice recognition, area of medicine, entertainments, all programs are in artificial intelligence. Field of game playing, also remarkable performance nowadays. The speed is highest, size is smallest and area uses has remarkably increased within the fifth generation. So not 100%, but it is in the starting development of the artificial intelligence. But we can expect many dimensions in artificial intelligence in coming days. Characteristic is basic artificial intelligence, language, understand natural language, that is human language, size portable and small in size. Here ultra large scale integration technology is used, parallel processing method is used, input output devices trackpad, touchscreen, pen, speed input, light scanner, printer, keyboard, monitor, mouse, etc. Example is desktop, laptop, tablet, smartphones, etc. So we have seen now history, then generation of computers, development of computers, what are the types of computers, etc. Thank you, students.